How did a woman kill over 300 Nazis? A typical sniper during World War II had somewhere between 10 and 30 kills on average. But one young woman made herself a personal enemy to the Germans by killing 309 of them in a little over a year, becoming one of the deadliest snipers of all time. Lyudmila, last name, was a Soviet sniper in the Red Army who fought against Nazi Germany during World War II. She participated in the siege of Odessa and the siege of Sevastopol, which took place on the Eastern Front. Anyways, Lyudmila, born from Ukraine, grew up as a self-described tomboy. According to her, she spent most of her childhood being extremely competitive in school athletics. As an adult, she enrolled in Kiev University with the intention of becoming a teacher. Unfortunately, in her final year of university, Nazi Germany invades the Soviet Union, and Lyudmila is among the first round of volunteers at Odessa recruiting office. The recruiters wanted her to become a nurse, but she didn't want none of that, and I don't blame her. That sounds boring. Instead, she insisted on joining the infantry, but the Red Army put her to the test, being that she was a woman. Nearby, in an active combat zone, recruiters took her to a mock interview, where she killed 2 Romanians from a great distance. You might be thinking like, wait, didn't you tell me she killed 309 Germans? Well, these kills she doesn't count in her actual tally, and she insists that they were just target practice. Now, surprisingly, she wasn't the only female sniper. There was actually 2,000 of them, which I think is a lot considering this is 1941. But only about 500 of them survived the war, and part of that might have been attributed to the weapon shortage. When Lyudmila first started, she claimed she was digging trenches, and she was armed with a single grenade. A sniper with a single grenade. Her first taste of blood came when a comrade took an arrow to the knee and left her with a bolt-action rifle. She then went on to kill 2 German officers at a distance of 400 meters, which, to normal people, that's about a quarter of a mile away. This was the beginning of a massacre. Jumping ahead a little bit, later that month, she would be promoted to senior sergeant, having already added over 100 more kills to her tally. And you might think like, whoa, how did she get 100 kills already? Well, she was out for blood. Not much is known about Lyudmila, but I think it's safe to say she was probably a woman who had been scorned. To reach such a high blood count, she had to become ruthless. One of her most successful strategies was to shoot her enemies in the leg and leave them there to cry out. When their allies would come to the rescue, she shot them too. It was a perfect trap. Like many other snipers, Lyudmila was also known for making good use of decoys to lure in her enemies, or to bait enemy snipers into firing and giving away their location. She was incredibly patient. She could lie for over a day, completely motionless, hiding, waiting for her enemy to make a mistake. This was a rare skill on the battlefield, and many died because they did not have it. Unfortunately for the Germans, they sent their own snipers out, specifically to find her, which resulted in over 36 confirmed sniper duels, all of which Lyudmila won. They were angry, desperate, not patient, and it killed them. Some of these duels lasted hours. In one account, a duel lasted up to 3 days, but she was determined to kill every fascist that she could. For 3 days, her and her opponent laid still, day and night, waiting for the other to make the first fatal move. 3 days go by when Lyudmila notices a tiny movement in the brush, and bam, one shot, he's dead. Warfare was much different back then. Obviously, we didn't have drones or satellite technology. All it took was a twitch, a sneeze, a pause to scratch your nuts. That's all it took to end your life. These sniper duels were more of a battle of willpower than anything else. And a great example of this is during another one of her hunts, she made a mistake. She was spotted in a tree. She did the only thing she could. She pretended to be hit. She fell over 10 feet and laid motionless, pretending to be dead, waiting hours until nightfall when she was able to make her escape. Her patience is what kept her alive. Most military-age men today would probably start tweaking out without their AirPods or without their vape. And more onto her patience, she didn't shoot at every opportunity. She often waited, watching enemies for hours, studying their movement patterns and picking out who was more predictable. She chose high-level officers over the pawns when she could, which made her even more deadly, even more of a threat to the Germans. All of these strategies, of course, were not unique to Lyudmila. There were hundreds of skilled snipers, and a few that had more kills than her. But one thing especially that Lyudmila had going on for her, that most snipers did not, was the fact that she became a symbol of fear to the German army. She was such a problem that the Germans even tried luring her out by bribing her or threatening her through the radio. German loudspeakers would broadcast messages directly to her. Some offered money, others threatened to torture and execute her. One broadcast reportedly promised her chocolate and an officer's rank if she surrendered, but Lyudmila ignored them all. Eventually, the Nazis and their Romanian allies overran Odessa, and Lyudmila's unit was withdrawn by the sea to Sevastopol. Here she joined the fight and also gave a little on-the-job training to other snipers, who turned out to be very prosperous. These handful of snipers she trained in weeks killed over 100 soldiers themselves throughout the war. As her kill count grew to over 300, she was quickly promoted to lieutenant. Her acceptance speech was very short, but painted her life's mission perfectly. I'll get more. After just under a year of service and being at the age of 25, she was already lieutenant and had over 300 sniper kills. But her frontline days weren't going to last much longer. Slightly after her promotion, she was struck in the face by shrapnel from a mortar shell. The Soviet High Command ordered her to evacuate via submarine, and she never saw the front lines again. She was officially credited with 309 confirmed kills, making her the world's most deadly female sniper, while ranking 12th overall. Now this is where things get a little weird. She made a full recovery, but was reassigned to become a propagandist for the Red Army. This is where her nickname, Lady Death, became known. But of course, the Germans had a different name for her, a Russian bitch from hell. Those are their words, not my words. After the war, Lyudmila was a celebrity around the globe, and she was even welcomed to the White House by Franklin Roosevelt. She was the first Soviet citizen to walk across the White House threshold. This is pretty fascinating given she was a propagandist for the Soviet army, and communism was not welcome in the United States. But she didn't end up there willingly, at least not at first. The Soviet army had sent her there to appeal to the American public, to put pressure on America to aid in Russia's fight against Hitler on the Eastern Front, which she wasn't really interested in. She wanted to go back to the front lines to kill more people, but she had no choice. Thankfully for her, she gained a close friend in a very high place. Roosevelt's wife, Eleanor, invited her to tour the United States, where the media gave her a rough time. One reporter, commenting on her military uniform, told her that here in America, women wore their skirts shorter. Several other reporters said that her uniform made her look fat. One reporter even asked her about her underwear. Some sources claim that she challenged this guy to a fist fight. Many publications spread comments around about her femininity or apparent lack of it, and the New York Times didn't take her all that seriously, calling her girl sniper. Despite how the media treated her, the United States government honored her and awarded her with a Colt semi-automatic pistol. A pistol for a sniper. Maybe a Soviet sniper couldn't be trusted with a rifle on home turf, but the Canadian government got it right by presenting her with a Winchester Model 70 rifle. Canada really loves to one-up America, even though they have nothing going for them. They just copy us and everything we have. There's not much to say about Lyudmila's beliefs other than the fact that she hated fascists with every fiber in her body. Lyudmila finished her education and began a career as a historian, until she died at the age of 58 from a stroke, which seems a little anticlimactic for a YouTube video. I really don't care. There's not much to say about her later life without spending 300 hours reading a book that is heavily fictionalized. The reality is, she was just one woman, one extremely dedicated woman, with a very simple mission: destroy the flood. As I mentioned at the beginning, a typical sniper killed somewhere between 10 and 30 people in World War II. Lyudmila is credited with 309 bodies, dead bodies. So the moral of the story is, do not underestimate a woman with a gun, and if you have to, hit them high up out of reach.